It's not about big contracts or endorsements. It's not about signing bonuses or incentives. It's about a pure love for the sport. It's about high school football, and today, it's about the championship. Last year, Hudsonville was 1-8. This year, they're racing for the Dome, but they'll run smack into legendary coach John Harrington, who is looking for Harrison's historic 9th championship.
The Pontiac Silverdome, home to the Detroit Lions since 1975 and home to the Michigan High School State Football Championships for just as long, since 1976. And if you think about it, folks, really a second home to John Harrington and the Harrison High School Football Hawks. How are you, everybody? Hey, glad you could stick around with us on this Championship Friday here on Fox Sports Detroit. My name is Matt Shepard, along with former U of M and Houston Oiler great Stanley Edwards. We are jacked for this ball game, a Class A title tilt between Harrison and Hudsonville. And what Harrison has done, Stan, going for their 9th state title, you can appreciate as a member of a Michigan football program that has been outstanding year in and year out.
Talk about tradition, Matt. This Harrison football team is generally in the running for the state title every year, and that's a tribute to everyone involved with the Farmington Harrison football program.
Yeah, what John Harrington has done here, folks, is unbelievable. He's looking to defend his big Class A championship, and he's gunning for he's in the finals for the 12th time in the last 22 years.
It means a whole lot to me. It means a lot to our team and the community. We've been there before, but every team is different. So we look real forward to a chance to compete in the Dome again. It's great excitement. It's the greatest thrill for a high school football player to be in the Silverdome. And it's even a greater thrill to win. So that's what we hope to do.
And this team may be as good as he's ever had because of the experience and the speed on both sides of the ball, including Ricky Bryant, all-world wide receiver.
Ricky Bryant is arguably one of the best wide receivers ever come to the state of Michigan, and he has the statistics to prove it.
Absolutely. This guy leads the state all-time in touchdown receptions and one of 3 Harrison Hawk players to start in their 3rd straight championship game. Now, if Harrison is a team that is old hat getting to this championship football game, it is brand new for Hudsonville. This is the first time they've ever been this far, folks. Matter of fact, they hadn't won a playoff game until this season. It all revolves around their tailback, Nate Luritzman.
If the Hudsonville football team is going to win, they have to ride the back of Nate Luritzman. He set school records for rushing, career, and individual season and touchdowns.
Yeah, he's going to rely on those big guys up front. One of our big guys, part of our broadcast, Greg Russell. He's down on the field. Greg?
Guys, that's right. I'm Greg Russell, joined by Hall of Fame coach from Detroit Country Day, Joe D'Angelo. Joe, what many people don't know is about this Hudsonville team is the turnaround they've had over the past year.
Yes, Greg. Hudsonville last year was 1-8. This year they're 11-1. Asking Coach Durham before the game, I said, why, Coach? He said, a lot of returning players and no injuries.
And now, in your case, you've coached against Farmington Hills Harrison many times with Detroit Country Day. What is it about his program that's so good?
Preparation. You'll find that Coach Harrington teams are well prepared. I asked Coach Harrington before the game, have you seen Hudsonville? He said only 7 times. Need I say more?
All right. Let's go back up to Matt and Stan in the booth.
All right, Greg, we look forward to your insight along with Coach D'Angelo's all broadcast long. Harrison and Hudsonville, the Hawks, on the receiving end of the coin flip. And they will stand back deep at the 10-yard line. And, of course, Ricky Bryant. We have talked about him and what he has meant to this Harrison program. As a brother now plays at your alma mater, Stanley Edwards, at the University of Michigan. And Ricky Bryant is going to be able to write his ticket as well.
Looking for an exciting game here. Opening kickoff tells a whole lot about the tempo of the game.
Kevin Woods is back deep too, but one of the up men take it at the 30 and dropped around the 34-yard line, and that's where Harrison will set up shop for their opening drive. Dave Pacey, the quarterback. The 6-foot, 175-pound senior, 21 touchdowns during the regular season, folks. That is a Harrison record, beating Mill Coleman's record. They will throw on first down. Plenty of time for Pacey. He's got a man, but he short arms him, and that'll bring up a second down situation.
This high-powered Harrison offense is not wasting any time. You see they're passing on first down. They're not going to waste any time. They average over 40 points a game, and they're not going to stop today. They're going to try to light the scoreboard up.
Yeah, this guy has thrown for more than 1,700 yards this season. Again, 24 touchdowns, including the playoffs, just 5 picks. Makes good decisions. And Harrington quarterbacks always do. 2nd down and 10 for the Hawks on their opening drive. Seeking their 2nd straight title, 9th in school history. He's got Bryant deep. Got him at the 30, and he'll waltz in from there.
As advertised, Matt, as advertised.
66 yards from Pacey to Bryant, and that's how quickly the Hawks can strike. Their offense is deadly.
As we watch here on the replay, Matt, you can see Bryant getting congratulated by the coaching staff on the sideline. It's a straight 5-step drive-back pass. He looks over the top. They just send Bryant straight down the field, streaking. Nobody can run with him step for step. He gets it, avoids the 1 man, and he knows he's got himself a touchdown as he showboats as he walks into the end zone.
Joe Gannon on for the extra point, and it's elementary. And the Hawks have the early lead. It only took 2 plays, and Harrison is proving why they boast 8 crowns. Hudsonville's got their chance when we come back. Ricky Bryant has caught more than 2,500 yards worth of passes in his career. A big 66-yarder gives Harrison first blood today.
Again, looking at him run down the middle of the field, almost unchallenged. Coach Durham and the defensive coaching staff for Hudsonville, they're going to have to double team him, because if not, he'll do that all day long. Well,
you know, the big concern, Stanley Edwards, is that Hudsonville, will they have the speed to match Harrison? Hudsonville wondered about that too earlier in the season, but in the playoffs they beat teams like East Lansing and Saginaw. Saginaw has a lot of speed. They feel they can handle it. Almost shell-shocked is Hudsonville. Remember, this is their first experience here, folks. James Kuipers and Nate Lertzema back deep to receive the kick. And it will be Lertzema. Near side, breaks the tackle. Oh, and he dragged another about 4 yards. Good field position for the Eagles, brought down by Blake Bosky. 25-yard return for the Eagles, and they will set up their offense. 1st and 10, right around midfield. Jordan Beal, the quarterback, a guy who started 3 games as a junior and was injured, hurt during the first week of this season, didn't pout about it, didn't say why me, instead fought hard, came back, and now he's led his club to its first ever title chance. Lertzema, left side, pretty good pickup along that left side. An offensive line that averages 215 pounds. Dan Woodwike, the big left tackle, at 240. Skill position players, Casey Glass, the leading receiver. Lertzema, again, over 1,800 yards on the ground this year. That's a school record. 2nd down and 6. Ball resting on the 36-yard line. Just underway. Harrison on top, 7-0. After scoring 21 seconds into the ball game. Good coverage downfield for the Hawks. A defense that has given up just 7.2 points per game. Brian McGee anchors that defensive tackle. 3rd start in a title game for him. Mike Hode, the school's all-time leading tackler. And a defensive backfield that boasts Andre Davis, an all-conference defensive back in 2nd All-Metro. That'll bring up 3rd and 6 for Hudsonville on their opening drive. Pitch far side. Harrison sniffed it out and buckled down. That'll bring up a 4th and long. Andre Davis coming up from his left or right corner position. He drops him by 1.
You know, Matt, we come in talking about the high-powered offense of this Harrison team, but this defense is very, very stingy. As you can see, they played the toss sweep perfectly. They had the cornerback who read sweep, came up, and just stuffed it in the backfield.
Bosky and Bryant standing around their own 35-yard line to receive the first punt of the afternoon. Casey Glass gets his foot into it. Bosky with a fair catch at the 39-yard line. Harrison with solid field position. Good defensive stand for the Hawks. A 26-yard punt, no return, and now Dave Pacey will have an opportunity at that Hudsonville defense again. Pacey, we talked about it, in the open, 24 touchdowns, including the playoffs. There's John Harrington, who has done such an outstanding job with the Hawks, the first and only coach this team has ever had. Pacey will throw again, looking for Bryant, has him near side. Cuts across the grain toward the middle of the field and into Hudsonville territory. Harrison's offensive line averaging 238 pounds. Brett Foster, an all-conference and 3-year starter. Your skill positions, we talked about Bryant. Watch out for Kevin Woods. Guy had 159 yards and 4 touchdowns in the semifinals win over Oxford. Pickup of 12. They'll move the chains again, and Harrison's offense is clicking early. They lead at 7-0 early on in the first. Give back to Matt Reed, and Hudsonville does a good job sniffing that one out.
I mean, Hudsonville has a tough defense in its own right. They've done quite better, and I think they haven't had an opportunity to get the publicity they deserve.
There's that Hudsonville defensive line that averages 240. They got the weight advantage. Bukema anchors that last tackle. Linebackers led by Jason Durham, the head coach's son, and Casey Glass in the defensive backfield has 8 picks on the year. Does just about everything for this Eagles ball club. Punts, kicks, D-back, and wideout. Out of the I formation, 2nd down and long. Pressure. Pacey gets away, but throws high. Intended for Blake Ashley, and that'll bring up 3rd and long. And maybe Hudsonville, this is where, you know, a defensive sedan, Stanley, might be able to pick up a little confidence here, right?
That'll help your secondary a lot trying to cover Ricky Bryant, is getting some pressure on the quarterback and making him get rid of the ball before he really wants to. That's one of the ways he's going to do it. I'm a little bit surprised, though, that the Hudsonville defense is not doubling Ricky Bryant. He's already gone deep past you one time and is still only covering with 1 man.
James Kuiper is the guy who put the pressure on Dave Passy last time. Now Pacey out of the shotgun formation. More pressure. Not going to get away this time. Hudsonville with the first big defensive play of the game. DJ Van Slyke with the sack. A drop of 6, and Harrison will be forced to punt.
As we look right here on the replay on the pressure again, looks like this Hudsonville team has settled down a little bit. They've gotten into their game plan, that they realize they've got to get pressure on Harrison's quarterback to not allow him to look downfield and pass the ball where he wants.
Glass and Gent are back deep. Look at this kick. Joe Ganem. And it'll be with a fair catch, Joe Gent near side. So Harrison couldn't get anything going that offensive series, and now Hudsonville gets another crack at it. You talk about a leg. Joe Ganem, no question, this guy is Division I material. He averages better than 43 yards per kick that time. They got a right foot into it to go 33 yards. And now Hudsonville gets their 2nd crack at it. Jordan Beal, 3 and out in the first series. Kuiper's out for Hudsonville. They'll go with a lone setback. Wilson. He'll get it near side. Well, they are popping down there, Stanley.
Yes, they are. Lurtham's a tough running back. He's not going down off the first hit. He is their guy, and they're going to give him the ball as often as they can.
Mike Hode, part of that tough Harrison linebacking core. He made the tackle. This guy is solid. A 3-year starter, all-conference linebacker, along with Bryant and McGee. 3rd straight start in a title game. John Harrington loves the fact that this guy never gives up on a play. And despite being injured at times throughout his career, has always played through it. Lurthman will try the wide side. Good block. First down, Hudsonville. Ryan Van Ree with a nice lead block.
Yeah. One of the best States wide receiver has the tackle one of the best States running back. As we watch here on the replay again, you see Lurtzimer taking a tall sweep, going to the left, and this time they get good blocking. He reads it, he plants, he cuts upfield there, and as you can see, Ricky Bryant plays wide receiver, but he also has to play defensive back too. If he doesn't make that play, Lurtzimer's still running.
Ryan Van Ree, the backup guard, and good job pulling to spring his tailback for a pickup of 12. Now they'll try it inside. Give him maybe 2, Stanley Edwards. Brian McGee pouncing on him there, so it'll bring up a 2nd down and 8.
Well, it looks like this Hudsonville defense had settled down pretty early. Now it looks like the offense is starting to get clicking too. I think they got shocked a little bit early with Ricky Bryant going deep, and that was to be expected. The shock is worn off. Now they're starting to move the ball a little bit.
Does that have anything to do with nerves, do you think?
I think so.
For the first time?
I think so.
Roll out. They're ready to throw. They'll go deep, but nobody else is going deep. The wide receivers broke their pattern off.
Yes, they did. It's like the quarterback was flushed out a little bit. He wanted to set up. He had a half roll, wanted to set up and throw long, but got a lot of penetration from that Harrison defense that forced him to throw the ball long.
There's Dave Durham, a club that was 1-8 a year ago, champions of the OK White, and that's a tough conference. He feels like that really helped prepare his ball club to get to this point. Nobody expected him to be here.
Talk about attention getter. You lose 8 games, and you better believe you're going to come back working hard the next year.
Yeah, he had 9 guys though miss 3 games because of injury. On a 3rd and 8, and Harrison drags him down from behind. Beal's got some time, but Brett Foster and that Harrison defensive line are putting an awful lot of pressure, and really that's a coverage sack, isn't it, Stan?
It sure was. As you can watch here on the replay, he's rolling out, he's got the ball, he's looking for somebody to come open, but no one ever does. He's trying to run and buy time for somebody to come open, but it never happens. And what you would like to see your high school quarterback do is not lose. He only lost 2 or 3 yards in that play, but find someone close to the area, throw it either over his head or at his feet to try not to lose yardage.
Now Hudsonville will again have to punt it away. They've accomplished just 1 first down in their first 2 drives. Bryant and Boski are deep. Wide kick far side and a fair catch. Signaled by Blake Boski. So Harrison with another chance. They're up 7-0 here at the Dome. The Class A state championship on the line on Fox Sports Detroit. High school football on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by the Detroit Free Press. For top coverage of preps and professional sports, turn to the pages of one of the nation's top sports sections. By Farm Bureau Insurance, proud sponsor of the MHSAA's Scholar Athlete Award. And by the United Dairy Industry of Michigan, proud sponsor of the MHSAA Sports Nutrition Award. Tough to figure out who is the MVP of this Harrison football team, but maybe it's John Harrington on the sidelines, a guy who has his team prepared to play year in and year out. They are vying for their 9th state championship, 2nd straight in Class A, and they lead Hudsonville 7-0. Kevin Woods near side, forced out of bounds. Pretty good play for Hudsonville to string him out a little bit and limit that yardage. You see how dominant Harrison has been in the first quarter of play, 117-14. Something's got to give, though, because Hudsonville's best quarter is the opening stanza. They have scored 79 points in the first quarter, but so far they're getting shut out.
I tell you what, this Hudsonville team is one team that you really can't count down. I know Harrison scored early, but as you can look, the Hudsonville defense is really starting to get a little stingy here and doing a great job of holding this offense in check.
2nd down, 3 to go. Woods gets the call again. Tough to bring down, but a good job by that Hudsonville defensive line to gang tackle him right around that 50-yard line. He might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage. Chuck East led the way for the Eagles defense. So that'll bring up 3rd down and 3 for the Hawks, who have the 7-0 lead after scoring on the 2nd play of the game, after scoring just 21 seconds in on a Pacey to Bryant 66-yard bomb. Play action pass. Pacey will roll right. He's got a man wide open, and he finds him. 1st down, Andre Davis. Give him a +12 and move the chains again.
As we watch here on the replay, they were in a tight formation and they faked the run on the 3rd and short play and then came up passing, which I think is a very smart play. What's also Hudsonville need to be aware of, if you can watch, they lined Ricky Bryant up at tight end on that play and sent him deep. He actually was open deep. You didn't get a chance to see it. They got the 1st down, but you better believe they will come to that play later on in the game.
Pacey has misfired on just 2 passes, almost 100 yards so far. And if you want a big play, you go to Andre Davis. He averages 18.5 yards per catch. 1st and 10. Harrison leading 7-0 with 5:53 left to go in the opening quarter. Pacey pressured again, steps up in the pocket, 1st down again and again. This time he finds Brian Nelson, so he's found 3 different receivers so far this afternoon. Forced out of bounds by Matt Smith.
He's doing a good job of spreading the ball around, but that time Hudsonville got a whole lot of pressure again. As you can watch it again, as you can see, they're sending a whole bunch of folks back there trying to get the quarterback off rhythm. He was able to step up and get rid of the ball. If I'm Hudsonville, I will continue to blitz. Although they paid for that time, but that's the only way you're going to have a shot at this high potent Harrison offense.
Kevin Woods checks out. Matt Reed is into the ball game as a tailback for Harrison. Leading 7-0. Staring at a 1st and 10 on their 27-yard line of Hudsonville. Bryant near side. Good spin move, but doesn't get away from Casey Glass. That's a nice matchup. You talked about it as we were discussing this game off mic. You like that matchup of Bryant and Glass, a couple of guys who are quick and speedy.
I give the advantage to Bryant because the wide receiver always knows where he's going, and the defensive back has to guess. Great play by Glass that time because he was the only guy. Had he missed that play, Bryant walks into the end zone.
And Dave Pacey right now is finding a groove. That's something Hudsonville's got to watch out for. If number 4 gets in a groove, he might be in for a long afternoon. Woods bounces it out far side. Good closing speed. That's what we were talking about. Casey Glass coming up from that cornerback position and putting a helmet on him.
Yeah, he may have a long afternoon, and they're going to need him. As you can watch, the running back here is an off-tackle play. He saw the defender set up in his face. He decided to bounce it outside. See Glass come all the way from the other side to make a play.
That's an accomplishment, too, considering Kevin Woods is the fastest guy on this Harrison team. There's
a ball player for you right there. He can play for my team any day.
Absolutely. 2nd down and long. 3-man backfield for the Hawks. Play action. Pacey rolls short side. Lofts it up. Bryant's alone, and he's got his 2nd touchdown.
That's what I'm talking about. It's not fair to Glass. Bryant has a lot of room to work with. He has a lot of options to go, and Glass is out there by himself. Glass is a top quality, one of the best defensive backs in the state. It's just asking him a bit too much to cover Bryant one-on-one by himself. Here we can see it again. Play action into the line. You see the quarterback rolling out, and he's got him by, he's out there. Look at him. He has all that field to work with, and nobody help. You have to put somebody on him. Either put Glass on him short and put somebody else, some safety help behind him, or put Glass deep and have somebody else chuck him at the line of scrimmage. You cannot let Ricky Bryant run like that by himself.
14-0. Harrison on top. Bryant scored a touchdown a year ago in the title game. He's already doubled that output today. Dave Pacey threw for a school record 24 touchdowns during the regular season, 2 already today. Sometimes the pressure will come back and help a defense later on in this game, right, Stan?
Yeah, they're going to have to get a lot of pressure, and those hits are going to add up. That's one way they're going to have an opportunity to stay in the game, is constantly get pressure on Pacey. If not sack him, you got to hit him because at some point he's going to start feeling it.
Kuipers and Lertzema back deep, standing inside the 10-yard line. They're hoping to give their Eagle teammates some good field position to try and get on the scoreboard. They have been unsuccessful in moving the ball against Harrison. Great kick. Look at that inside that 5. Kuipers, far side, got a hole, but it closed quickly. Not a bad return for the Eagles, though. They'll set up shop just inside the 30-yard line, a 24-yard return for Kuipers.
One thing they got to be concerned about is not panicking. Yes, the score is 14-0. Yes, it's still the first quarter. There's a lot of football left. Don't panic and try to get everything back in this one series. You got to make sure, one, you want to control the ball, get a few first downs, try to get on the Harrison side of the field, and then establish some type of running game. They got to get some rhythm. They got to keep that Harrison offense on the bench.
It's a good point. You can't get it all back on one play, so try to get a rhythm for your offense. Lertzema near side, and look at it close quickly. Well, he tries to get to that end, but Blake Bowski is there waiting for him, and he hammered him. You wonder a little bit, Stan, if Dave Durham's club, because they went 1-8 last year and now are at this point, that maybe they feel they've had a successful season already, whereas Harrison doesn't feel like it's a success unless they win this ball game.
That could be a concern because it's a monumental effort in itself just getting here, you know, coming from a 1-8 season last year. And you hope the guys are just not satisfied being here. They want to win the game, I'm quite sure.
Especially when you're the underdog week in and week out. Counter, and Lertzema tries the far side, but again, Harrison is there to snuff it out. They got to get this running game going, otherwise Mike Hode and company can tee off and pin their ears back and really jump after it on Jordan Beal.
I think they can. I think they need to mix their plays up a little bit more. You know, when you're going to run the ball, Lertzema is going to be your guy. Passing on first down is usually a good opportunity to get some short yardage passes, 8 to 10 yard area. Run Lertzema on second and short, then you have a better opportunity of being successful.
Look at that helmet of Mike Hode. He's been in a couple scraps, hasn't he?
Oh, yes, he has.
That's why Harrington loves him. Play action. Beal. He's going deep. He's got his man, but he overthrew him. Jesse Brower was out there. He had his defensive back beaten on a little flag pattern, but Beal couldn't find him. Beal yet to complete a pass this afternoon. 4th and long. They'll bring out the punting team. I'm going to go on a limb here, Matt. This could be the most important defensive series for Hudsonville's defense coming up. Because 14-0 is not bad. It's a concern. If it goes up 21-0 in the first quarter, look out. Casey Glass standing at his own 20-yard line to punt. He's had to punt a couple of times and averages about 24 yards. Kick is away, short line drive, far side. Not exactly what Hudsonville wanted there. Out of bounds, good field position for the Hawks of Harrison, an 18-yard punt. And again, you give a good offensive club field position, you're losing half that battle already. Yes, it is. They don't need any more help, do they? If I'm for Harrison now, I try to go for the jugular. You know, I can afford to, you know, take some shots right now and gamble a little bit because I'm up 14-0. I'm going to go for the jugular. I'm going to try to hit a home run somewhere on this series. Ricky Bryant is just one touchdown catch away from tying the state championship record. He already has 2 this afternoon. Davis in motion. Pacey will throw again. He's had success. There he is. The post. Bryant's out there, but he can't call it in. Well, he beat Casey Glass again. Glass bit on the little out, and then when Bryant turned it up. This is a tremendous route and a tremendous call by Harrison. As you can watch Bryant right here, he comes on this play. They've run it early when he ran the out. He looks at the out, he looks at the quarterback, and then Glass bites. The quarterback is throwing against his body, which makes it a very difficult throw. Had he had the opportunity to set up and plant, that's probably another touchdown. Yeah, they call that a flat zip in their offense. A little 7-yard flat pump move by the quarterback, and then Bryant zips it up the field, and you're supposed to just loft it and let him run under it. 3 wide receivers set for Harrison. Looked like somebody jumped. I think Bryant prematurely jumped near side. John Harrington has been at Harrison High School for 29 years. He has 260 wins.
False start on green. Dead ball, false start on the offense.
260 wins. That is the 5th most in high school state history. He was a junior varsity coach at North Farmington before taking over the Harrison program. Also coaches baseball there. Well, that's a tremendous record there. You're talking about going through a lot of pains and heartaches trying to get to that point, because there's a great number of great programs around the state, but to have a record like that is just truly outstanding. Already in 3 Hall of Fames, high school coaching Hall of Fames. Pacey, play action again, steps up nicely, more pressure, gets away, and dragged down from behind. Chuck East boasting Hudsonville's 2nd sack of the afternoon. And Stanley, you talked about a defensive stop. That's what they needed, and right now their big guys are coming through. They're putting a lot of pressure on him. As we can watch it again here, they're going to have to put pressure on the quarterback to stay in the game. They continue to do it on this play. As you can watch it, I don't know how he got away from that. That's calls from guys going in and just trying to deliver a knockout blow and not wrapping the quarterback. They're going to have to pressure. Something they need to be concerned with is fatigue. To blitz that much takes a lot of energy and effort, so that may be a factor later in this game as well. Joe Nienhuis had him wrapped up. Pacey able to get away. We'll see what happens here. 3rd and a ton. Cocks and fires, picked off. Matt Reagan maybe makes the defensive play of the game so far. You talked about it, Stanley Edwards, and you're right on the money. Maybe that changes the momentum just a little bit for the Eagles.
As we watch it from the wide angle, as we watch the drop back in, the quarterback drop, you can see him right there at the bottom of the screen there. He reads, looks at the quarterback right in his eyes, and he reads the play all the way. That's the kind of thing you got to do if you're Hudsonville. At this point, you have to take some gambles as well. Instead of going for the tackle to make sure he gets a secure tackle, he went for the interception, and he won.
So 1st and 10 in their best field position of the afternoon. Beal will keep that rather than give it to the up back, and he'll get no yardage. Again, Mike Hode in on the tackle. He is everywhere. He is supposed to be everywhere in that 5-2 defense, and he fills the gaps pretty well, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. But I'm still a little concerned with Hudsonville going back to that conservative offense. They got a break there. They're going to have to start taking some shots themselves.
If you're going to run the ball, why not give it to 33 is what you're saying.
Exactly.
Split backfield. There's 33. Lurtzen. Look at him push people back. That's a hard-earned 5 yards, folks. Stanley Edwards had that and more with the Michigan Wolverines and the Houston Oilers. You know what it's like to take on a few guys helmet to helmet before getting pushed back.
Well, but this guy is tough right there, Lurtzen. I mean, he's the guy that they're going to count on, and they're going to have to run the ball. But see, I'm concerned because it's 3rd and 3. They haven't put the ball up yet. You know, they're not in field goal range yet, and all you're going to do is punt and keep them back there. They got to pass the ball. Now it's an obvious passing down. Now Harrison can tee off.
Some people complained about your head coach doing that too much. Run, pass.
Yes, they did.
If you got a workhorse like Lurtzen, well, maybe it works. Let's see if it does here. He cuts inside. He is stuck and comes up short on the 1st down. You might be in 4-down territory anyway.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the play you want to run on 3rd and 5 situation. I'm quite sure they have a lot of success this season. If you can watch it here from the back, you watch Lurtzen in the I formation. He catches the pitch. He plants and cuts upfield, and he fights for every yard he can possibly get. And that's a great effort by him, but you just can't run over 5 guys.
Good lead block by James Kuipers, that fullback, so very important. Dario Otero with a tackle for Harrison. It'll be 4th and 1, and we won't get this play off before the end of the 1st quarter. Harrison strikes twice on 2 big plays from Pacey to Ricky Bryant. And the Hawks, the defending Class A championship holders, are up by 2 touchdowns. Some consider Harrison the best football team in the state, regardless of class. John Harrington's ball club has won 25 straight. He has boasted 7 undefeated seasons, 19 conference championships, and had just 2 losing seasons. He doesn't know what it's like to be on the losing end of any score. Right now, his ball club is up 14-0. But staring at a Hudsonville club that is in pretty good field position, and it can get a whole lot better for them if they convert on 4th and 1 on the Harrison 37-yard line. You knew Lurtzen was getting it. He got it. Oh, you like the way he puts his shoulder down and bulls forward. James Kuipers with a great lead block. You look at those 1st quarter statistics, Stanley Edwards. Harrison dominating in just about every facet of the game except for time possession, but Hudsonville has been unable to move the football except on this drive.
There's an odd stat there as you look at the rushing yards for Farmington Harrison is that they have 0, and they're up 14-0.
66 of those yards coming via the touchdown pass to Ricky Bryant on the 2nd play of the game. We got a mixed up play here. And we got a pass. And we got a Hudsonville touchdown.
That's it. That's what I'm talking about.
I'll tell you what, Jordan Beal had me fooled. He didn't have Stanley Edwards fooled, but he had me fooled. And then when you give it to Casey Glass, he found James Buchema wide open in the corner of the end zone. And folks, the Eagles are back into this ball game.
As we watch the replay, that's the one that they had way deep in the playbook. As you watch it, they're a very conservative team. Running the reverse is one thing. One of the reverse pass is unheard of for Hudsonville. But that's the kind of play you have to do in a state championship game if you want to stay with a team like Farmington Harrison. Great job by Hudsonville. As you can watch Glass right here. Not only can he defend, but he can pass as well.
He does it all. I mean, he kicks, he punts, he's a wideout, and he's a cornerback. He's a special player for Hudsonville. It's a special moment for those fans. Look at them. They are rabid right across from our broadcast booth. They brought the whole town, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
Well, they are intelligent people out there, too, aren't they?
Oh, boy.
They know where to find the best sports in town.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, that touchdown from Pacey to Ricky Bryant on the second play of the game, the fastest Harrison touchdown in final games history for the Hawks. May not mean a whole lot right now. Hudsonville is basking in the glow of their first ever title touchdown. And here it comes again.
As you can watch here, you see just all alone. That is asking a wide receiver to do a lot. You're talking about a guy who was on a team that only won one game last year, and now you're asking him to catch a pass all alone in the end zone in the Silverdome. Can you imagine what was going through his mind?
Sometimes those are the most difficult ones to catch.
Very difficult, because there's a lot of things that can go through your mind, and as that ball coming to you, you're thinking about all of them, and one of them is, please don't let me drop this ball.
You see there Casey Glass's first touchdown pass this season, and it's the second touchdown reception from Buchanan. Senior leadership still very important, and Hudsonville has a number of them, including Mr. Glass, who does it all.
Could not have come at a better time.
Shot in the arm for his ball club, and now he will try and tack on that extra point. And it's good. Jason Hansen couldn't have done any better. The Hawks lead the Eagles 14-7, but that Harrison offense is back on the field when we come back on Fox Sports Detroit. Our Fox Sports flashback takes us back to the 1989 Class B championship game. The Harrison Hawks trailing DeWitt in the final minutes of the fourth quarter, when quarterback Mill Coleman takes the ball in for the remaining 9 yards, giving them a 28-27 lead. DeWitt had one last chance to win the ball game, but the Harrison defense rock solid on this play. Linebackers picking off the pass, and Harrison goes on to win the then 1989 Class B championship. You see number 6 celebrating out there in Harrison green and gold. He's down on the sidelines with our own Greg Russell.
Thanks a lot, Matt. That's right. Here on the sideline with a guy who won 2 state championships for Farmington Harrison, Mill Coleman. Mill, what does the team have to do to secure their 9th possible title?
They just have to keep pouring it on and watch the trick plays. Teams they're having a hard time moving the ball on us, so if we watch those trick plays and keep running, throwing the ball and running the ball, we should be okay.
All right, thanks a lot, Mill. Let's take it back up to the guys.
All right, Mill Coleman, one of the special players at East Lansing as well. More than 7,400 yards in his passing career at Albion and then Harrison. That is an all-time Michigan high school record. Right now he's watching his club, or alma mater I should say, down by 7 with a whole bunch of passing yards. Nothing on the ground just yet, though. They try a little trick play. Get it to Ricky Bryant. He needs a block to spring it. Good enough to get into Hudsonville territory.
From one reverse to another. I think what's real special about Ricky Bryant is, one, he's the kind of guy who not only can run past and deep, but he can break tackles as well. He came around on the reverse. He had to break a few tackles to get downfield. Good open field run. As we can see him here from the back angle. Fake the dive. You can see Bryant coming around the field there. He's a good open field runner. Follows his blocks well. Hurl is his own man, breaks the tackle there, and still stays on his feet to get some extra yards.
Great job by the left guard, Brett Foster, pulling there and leading the way. 1st and 10 for the Hawks. Giving to the up back, Blake Ashley. A little counter play there. Very little yardage, as has been the case in running the ball for Harrison. Without that Bryant reverse, they don't have much on the ground at all, but they still got a 7-point lead.
But those are kind of the plays, and it wasn't fancy at all. It's just a dive into the line that Harrison's going to have to do. Make sure they're keeping the defense of Hudsonville honest. They've been wide open pretty much the whole first half, but they want to make sure that those linebackers stay home by running dives up the middle.
Hudsonville already with a school record 11 wins on the season. The 12th would be the sweetest of all. Bryant in motion far side. Roll left. Caught by Ashley. 1st down. Jason Durham on the tackle.
Matt, as we watch the replay here from ground level, we watch him rolling to his left, and that's not always the easy pass to throw, but he puts it right on the money. And those are the kind of the plays that makes Harrison successful. He spreads the ball around to everyone. Bryant is just not the only guy he drops back and look for. He gets it to whoever's open, and he gets it to him right away.
Important possession from Harrison, not necessarily to score, but to move the football and show that they can do that since the last time Hudsonville stymied it. Woods. A little bit of running room, near side, pickup of about 6. DJ Van Slyke on the tackle there. Woods, the leading rusher for Harrison during the regular season. 7 touchdowns as a back, but also caught one as well. 8 touchdowns of the year. And we talked about that unbelievable semis in which he touched the ball stand just 7 times. But busted loose for 159 yards and 4 scores.
Wow, what an average.
2nd down and 2. And Woods just may have it. Jordan Bauer came in from that middle linebacker spot, but not before Woods gets the 1st down, and Harrison will move him again. Wow. The Hawks are really starting to own the line of scrimmage to a certain extent, and you talked about that too as being a key to this game. I mean, Hudsonville needs to do the job in the trenches if they want to compete.
Not only having a high potent offense and will go deep and hit the home run at any time, they can have ball control offense as well. That makes them equally as dangerous.
Play action. Pacey deep. He's got his man, but overthrew him. Mike Hode, the tight end. We called his name all afternoon as the linebacker, but does a pretty good job as a tight end. He's got 5 touchdown passes on the year. That time was overthrown.
Yeah, it wasn't wide open. Pacey did a good job as where he put it as the receiver was the only one who had an opportunity to catch the ball, making sure that it's either going to be a reception or an incomplete pass. You don't want to put it right on the money in a play like that, as well as he was coverage, because you can risk chance of throwing an interception.
Now 2nd down and 10 for the Hawks, who lead by a touchdown. Again, more play action. Good job by Pacey to step up. More pressure. Oh!
If he steps through that tackle, it's a touchdown.
Yeah, DJ Van Slyke grabbed a tennis shoe or 2. Tripped him up. Otherwise, you're right, Pacey is headed for pay dirt again.
Well, Van Slyke did an excellent job there. As you see, Pacey dropped back, and he actually had Bryant on the post, but he recognized he didn't have an opportunity to pass it. And he starts running toward the end zone. Van Slyke made a play right there.
Here's Ricky Bryant. You were talking about wide open. They got to put a man on him.
He's right there in the middle, but by that time, Pacey had already took off running.
Harrison forced into a timeout. Pacey, maybe with a little pressure. His brother won a state championship for Harrington in 1993 as a quarterback. And his brother Mike was on the 1991 state championship team. Now, Dave Pacey is looking to guide his Hawks to the title field as well. They up 14-7. We're back with more right after this on Fox Sports Detroit. Harrison leads it 14-7 at the Dome in the Class A championship game. There's more state championship action coming your way next Saturday with start to finish live coverage of all 4 games of the Michigan girls basketball finals. Our crew will be in Mount Pleasant to bring you all the hoops hysteria as the MHSAA crowns its 1998 champions exclusively on Fox Sports Detroit. Fred McLeod will be in Mount Pleasant to bring you the play-by-play. Looking forward to that one. We're looking forward to more football here at the Dome. Pacey on a passing down situation. Lofts it for the corner. Touchdown. Andre Davis. Pacey with 3 touchdowns in the ball game. 2 to Bryant, 1 to Davis, and Harrison has increased its lead to 20-7.
I mean, Pacey's a guy who's not just locked into Ricky Bryant. Pacey rolls out again, and they love to roll him out because he throws well on the run. And Davis already had hit it up, took off the sideline. No one had a chance to bump him at the line of scrimmage.
3 of their 4 offensive possessions have led in Dave Pacey touchdown passes. Here's the latest one to Andre Davis.
As you can see, Davis is going out. Actually, Ricky Bryant kind of clears the area out, and then the receiver wasn't sure if he should stay with Bryant or go with Davis, and that hesitation caused Davis to get open in the end zone for the touchdown.
So Harrison makes a statement, and watch Pacey, after he takes a little helmet pop, knows that he's got that touchdown and knows that he has just put his team up by 2 scores. He is now 1 touchdown shy of the state championship record. 4 touchdowns in a ball game. The guy Greg Russell was interviewing earlier, Mill Coleman, set the record back in 1988 when he threw 4 in a ball game. And look at the Hawk fans decked out in green and gold.
I mean, Pacey will find the open receiver. You know, you get a guy of a caliber of a Ricky Bryant, and you tend to drop back in the pocket and just look for him. No, he has no problem finding who's ever open. Everybody's my friend. Here, you take a touchdown, you take a touchdown, you take a touchdown.
Almost 160 yards through the air. And 3 touchdowns for Dave Pacey, the senior record holder for a number of touchdowns in a season in a Harrison uniform. Don't forget, following this one, Class C, the title game there. Unionville Subwing up against St. Francis and Traverse City. Looking forward to that one. A couple of defensive-minded ball clubs getting ready to strap it on there. There's your scoring drive. 8 plays, over 60 yards in just under 4 minutes of play. They can move the ball, folks. There is no question about it. As we said, 3 of the first 4 drives leading to touchdown passes. The other one resulted in a Hudsonville interception, and then the Eagles were able to cash in there. Kuipers and Lertzema back deep, ready to receive the kick from Joe Ganem. This guy has got a leg and a half. He will play Division I somewhere. Lertzema will take it at the 8. Looking for a wedge, trying to bounce it outside, and he's got a seam and a half up toward midfield. We talk about momentum, Stanley Edwards. Harrison took it back on the scoring drive. Lertzema trying to give it right back to his Eagles ball club with a big-time 34-yard return.
Again, down 14 points, you're not out of the ball game at all. As you can see, Lertzema here, he's got a lot of speed here. As he plants, he's looking out at the corner of his eye, and he's going past a lot of Harrison jerseys right there as he sprints upfield, and only had one play to beat.
Look at Joe Ganem saving the day, too. Ganem's brother was a running back on the state championship team a year ago. It's a little counter. A good job from behind for Harrison. Kevin Foster was leading the way for Hudsonville. And before the Eagles could find that wedge, led the way, the Hawks were able to sniff it out. Brian McGee dragged him down. Still a pickup of 5, 2nd down and 5 yards to go. Lertzema, look at him shift hands. Well, you get a big smile on your face every time you watch that guy run the football, don't you?
Absolutely. I mean, this guy knows how to run the football, and that's what you want to have in a guy like Lertzema. You can see him catch the pitch here. He's going to the left. He breaks in the line of scrimmage, switches to his left hand, and he breaks the tackle. He's going up the sideline. I think what helped that play be a positive play, because on 1st down, they got 5 or 6 yards. They have positive play on 1st down that allowed them to run Lertzema on 2nd and short.
Averaging better than 5 yards a carry. Able to switch hands and then give that stiff arm to Brian Nelson. He may only pick up another 3, but those 3 yards are important down the way.
Yes, it is.
Inside fake. Little swing out to Lertzema. Good open field tackle by Blake Boski. Still, Hudsonville moving the ball pretty well on 1st down on this drive, huh?
Yeah, as you see, Lertzema is not only a runner, he's also a pass receiver in the flats.
Job by Boski to wrap up. Textbook tackling there.
Sure. I mean, Hudsonville has not panicked, and they shouldn't, because they're only down by 2 touchdowns. It's still in the 1st half.
6:15 and counting in the 1st half of play. Hawks leading it 21-7. Lertzema will try the near side, and look at Boski is there. Somehow Lertzema is on his feet.
Oh.
Man, oh man, I think every Harrison player got a hat on him, but Lertzema refuses to go down.
I mean, he's got a lot of tough running, a lot of running ability in him. Lertzema is the kind of guy that you're going to have to put 5 and 6 tackles on and bring him down. I would be a little bit careful carrying the ball out like that, because you can cause a fumble. But he is a determined runner, and he is not going to go down.
6 guys got a hat on him, Stan.
A little extracurricular activity, maybe a little bit of grabbing of the face mask as well.
It's like when you and the Oilers take on the Steelers. A little grudge match there.
Just a little bit.
A few guys putting a hat on you.
Yeah.
You feel that the next day, wouldn't you?
Yeah. See Lertzema on the side of getting a well-deserved rest.
Out of a split backfield on 3rd and long. Going for it all. A little long. Intended for Casey Glass. Suddenly Jordan Beal is airing it out a little bit. And you know, this is a guy who only threw for a little more than 200 yards this season. They don't throw the ball a whole lot in Hudsonville, especially when you got a guy like Lertzema in that backfield. So they don't want to be put in a situation where they're forced to put it up all the time. There's Lertzema, the all-time leading ground gainer in Hudsonville history.
Yeah, he's a little winded there on the sideline. Yeah, they've been kind of riding him a little bit, in my opinion, too much in the first half, because they're going to have to open the ball up.
Casey Glass just inside his own territory. That's a fake. He wants to throw it. I don't know if this is going anywhere. Not toward a first down anyway.
Where I agree that you're going to have to take some chances and do a little razzle-dazzle. I don't know if a screen off a punt is what you want to do. As you can see Glass back there in a punt formation. Then he throws the screen over here to the sideline. You just don't give your running back a lot of options in that particular area.
Harrison didn't even bite. Watch this. Great camera angle by our guys here on Fox Sports Detroit. They don't even bite. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 guys pursuing the football. 2 guys drag him down. He's about 10 yards shy. And maybe worse yet, Stan, is that they give Harrison in field position, outstanding field position.
Exactly.
Matt Reed, the ball carrier, left side. Pick up about 4 or 5. And when you're picking up 4 or 5 on first down, you're really forcing that defense to start guessing what you're going to do the next 2 downs.
And I'm wondering what the score would be now if, in fact, they've had an opportunity to pin Harrison back in their own territory. Harrison has got great field position on every possession.
Yeah, I don't think they've had it inside their own 30-yard line yet. And again, this is an offensive team that averages 41 points a game. They don't need any more help. We approach the 4:20 mark of the first half. Harrison leads it 21-7. Kevin Woods, near side. Tell you what, when they put a hat on you, Hudsonville can pop you.
They get to the ball. I mean, they gang tackle. They're not a very big team, so what they do to compensate for that is they gang tackle and they get 4 and 5 tackles on you at one time.
Fred Cunningham in on the stop there to force a 3rd and 5 situation for Harrison. The second quarter is the biggest quarter for the Hawks. They've scored 159 of their points this season in the quarter just before the break. They have cashed in once so far this afternoon. Pacey is mauled. DJ Van Slyke. He's the same guy who tripped him up at the other end, and this time he comes in, mauls him down, a drop of 8, and a punting situation.
Again, they have to get pressure on this quarterback, and if they want to contain him, and the pressure they do, they're coming from all angles. They must have blitzed about 3 or 4 guys between the secondary and the linebackers to get pressure on him, and they're doing an excellent job at it. They need to continue.
And they're getting their hands up, too. That's important. Hudsonville on the return. Joe Dent muscles his way for about 4 or 5 yards. But again, the Eagles' defense holds. And now the Hudsonville offense has to move the ball a little bit. Can't blame the Eagles defense if they're getting a little tired. They've spent an awful lot of time out on that Silverdome carpet.
Yeah, it's 3 minutes to go right before the half. It'd be nice if they can get at least a field goal, if not a touchdown, before they go into this locker room. But more importantly, they need to keep that Harrison offense on the bench. They need to possess the ball for this full 3 minutes.
Yeah, they need to get a couple of first downs here, at least to give them something feeling good about themselves going into the break. Mike Hode delivered the blow on Jordan Beal. Beal ran a long way to pick up just 3.
Yeah, I think when we talk about passing on first down, that's not the play that I had in mind. If you're going to pass on first down, just do 5 to 8 yard area passing. It's just like a running play. It's a positive running play. But what you do is you keep your defense pretty much honest. It's going to allow them to not only just pin their ears back and come after the ball carriers. They got to be careful as to where you're going to spread the ball on the field. You don't need to pass deep downfield, just 5 to 10 yards in that area. That'll be a good positive play on first down.
Take what the defense gives you.
Exactly.
Single setback. And 3 wide receivers set for Hudsonville. Pipers near side, watch out. Zach Burton immediately knew that that was a screen pass. Didn't even budge from his right defensive end position. A drop of 9.
I mean, the play action screen was to one of the backs who not a really consistent ball carrier. Lurtzman is the guy you want to play action to get everybody's attention. Since it was not Lurtzman in the ball game, they figured this guy wasn't going to probably carry the ball. Now who else is available? In that case, they read the screen.
Now 3rd and a mile, you want to choose some clock, and that's what they do. Lurtzman tries the far side. Doesn't even get back to the original line of scrimmage. And see, Harrison's going to call timeout here, and rightfully so. Hudsonville's going to have to kick it away. Hey, folks, get the latest on the local NFL scene with Lions Weekly. See the latest highlights, player interviews, and Coach Bobby Ross's salute to a Michigan high school football program. It's all on Lions Weekly, Tuesday night at 7:30, only on Fox Sports Detroit. Love that program. Everybody involved does such an outstanding job, especially behind the scenes, putting that program together, and the Lions have been great. They're on a 3-game mini roll, so there's another reason to start watching that show if you haven't already. And if you want to join us, come on out to the main event. We tape it every Monday night at 5:30. John Harrington hoping his defense can clamp down and get another chance. We talked about the accolades he has received. Michigan High School Football Coaches Hall of Fame in '86 and the National Hall of Fame in '98. Been a 3-time runner-up, 5th time in the last 6 years they've played in the finals. And you know, this is the 2nd time in school history they have played in 3 straight finals.
That's a tremendous record. And it's also been a tremendous record with both these teams this first half. Matt, I don't think there's been any penalties this first half.
I was going to say, I mean, we've had a very clean first half. Of course, you know, these 2 teams are the fewest penalized teams in high school football anyway. I mean, Hudsonville only gets 5 penalties per game, which isn't a whole lot. So, I mean, these guys are very well disciplined. Of course, you have to be to get to this level anyway, don't you?
Exactly, you do. Once you get this far, you have to have done a lot of things right, and not being penalized a great deal is one of them.
All right, so Hudsonville will punt it away. They'll be punting away to Ricky Bryant, standing at his own 35-yard line. Now, he may not get a chance to return, folks. Not a whole lot of people kick his way. He averages 16 yards per return, but because they don't kick it his way, he's only returned like 12 punts all year and won't get a chance at that one either. A little extracurricular down near where Hudsonville was punting. We got $1:17 left to go in this first half of play, and Harrison still with time left to try and make something happen.
Knowing the history of this offense, I don't think they're going to settle with just 21 points. They got 1:17 left. You better believe they're going to try to get back in that end zone.
Look at that, 122 all-purpose yards for Ricky Bryant today. That includes a couple of touchdown catches, folks, and includes a reverse.
We're not even at halftime.
No, the Class A state championship. We've got them on high school championship weekend here on Fox Sports Detroit. We got 4 more ball games coming your way on Saturday. Hope you can join us for those as well. They're starting to really hammer Pacer. Ken Reagan came up from his right defensive corner position. He was on a delayed blitz, and they're starting to sniff out blood a little bit.
Well, I think it was a great job by the defensive coordinator for Hudsonville, because what they did was they went to 3 wides. But the Hudsonville secondary, as you can see, they're in the prevent. You can watch everybody back real deep. They're trying to make sure they don't get any balls thrown over their head, and then they blitz from that point there. And it was a great call at the great time, because they were going to try to go deep. They didn't have time because they were back there waiting on them.
Loss of 9 on the play. Fumble. Pacey, I believe, pounced on it. That's the fear. I was just about to ask you before the play got underway. Do you just sit on the ball here if you're Harrison? I mean, let's face it, you're up 14. Do you really need to try and go 80 yards in 30 seconds?
Well, I think what you also want to do is you want to make sure you get some first down. You may not try to score from this area, but you're also at your own end of the field. And you don't want to be too conservative, because when you get conservative, you start getting tentative. Just like on that last play, you fumble snaps from center and things of that nature. You want to make sure you run your regular offense to make sure you move the ball down the field. You fumble the ball in that area, you give Hudsonville an opportunity to get on the scoreboard again before halftime.
And Hudsonville loses one of its remaining timeouts now with just one. If you don't know a whole lot about this Eagle program, there's not a whole lot of people who live in the town. They may all be here, folks. Just under 6,200 people. Big school, enrolling on close to 1,200. They play in that OK White Conference, solid conference. And we talked about the playoff history. The first time they've ever reached this point, and again, first time they've ever won a game in postseason play. And they have beaten some pretty good teams in East Lansing and Saginaw. Saginaw, a team that was highly rated and had a lot of team speed. East Lansing was ranked second in the state to John Harrington's Hawks, who have been #1 throughout the season. He has 31 seniors on this ball club. They are located on 12 Mile and Orchard Lake Road. And they play in the Western Lakes West Division. And the playoff history is similar to that, or equivalent to that. Guys like George Hallis and Vince Lombardi. And maybe Lombardi's the better analogy there, since both teams are green and gold. In case you joined us for this 1 o'clock kick and didn't catch that first game, Fred McLeod and John Wangler brought it to you. Fowler beat North Dickinson 26-8. Our Fox Sports Detroit hats off to Fowler for becoming the 1998 Class D state championship. Pacey ripped down again. Look at Ken Reagan for the second time in as many plays. Comes up bumping chest because he just made a big-time play. Timeout, Eagles.
As you watch here, you can see Pacey gets flushed out again because they're getting constant pressure on him. They're trying to go downfield deep, and the Hudsonville defense won't let them, because what they're doing is in the prevent defense, and they're not going to let him throw over their head. Therefore, Pacey has no one to throw to, and he's running for his life.
I'll tell you something, folks. You got some of the best cameramen in the business working this ball game. You see shots like that, you'll be lucky to see those in some of the NFL coverages you see elsewhere. And for the second time, Ken Reagan was chomping at the bit to get after that quarterback. And that's like a guy who hasn't eaten all day, goes through doubles practice, and then looks at himself a little sandwich on the plate, and he's just licking his chops, saying, give me it, and he can't close fast enough. And when he got there, he made Pacey realize that I'm in for a dogfight here this afternoon. It is such a difficult time getting to this point, folks. Hudsonville, we talked about the win over East Lansing and then Saginaw. Harrison beating Dearborn and blowing out Oxford. And Oxford's a pretty good ball club and had revenge on their mind. Remember, Harrison beat them 48-0 to start the season. Everybody in Oxford was talking about payback time come semifinals. And all the Hawks do is roll out there and spank them 48-7 to get to this point. John Harrington, class act, has done it all year long and is used to his guys getting to this point. Casey Glass is deep inside his own territory, and this is where Harrington needs Joe Ganem to get a foot into one.
They may go for a block here.
Line drive. Glass will have a good chance to return. How fast can he run the 50? Weaving through traffic. He's got 10 seconds, and now he's pushed out of bounds. 5 seconds left. That may give him a chance to throw up a Hail Mary. Matt Reed in on the tackle. And now Jordan Beal is going to see how strong that right arm of his is. 37-yard punt, a 14-yard return far side.
One of two plays. I would throw a Hail Mary, as you mentioned, or I may run a draw play, see if the running back can break one inside. Other than that, it's about all you can do unless you're going to just take a knee and try to go in from there. I don't think they should do that. This is a state championship game. You need to try to score.
Maybe that old Miami Dolphins play in the early 80s they threw against the Chargers in the playoffs. Little hook and toss. Beal will go up top. Incomplete, and that'll do it for the first 24 minutes of play. Harrison leads it 21-7 behind 3. Count them 3. Dave Pacey touchdown passes. You want to stick around at the half. We're going to talk about Hudsonville, one of the most famous, if not the most famous, Hudsonville alums. We'll have your first half stats and highlights, and we will go down on the field. Greg Russell and the coach will join us for an analysis of our first 24 minutes, in which Harrison leads it 21-7. John Harrington now just 24 minutes away from his 9th state title. Remember, Detroit DePorres has 10, and that is the most in the history of the MHSAA. Harrison needs one more to get number 9, and coming up against a scrappy Hudsonville team, it may be one of the more satisfying for Coach John Harrington. And speaking of the coach of the Harrison Hawks, he now joins our own Greg Russell sidelines. Greg?
Thanks a lot, guys. That's right. Here on the sideline with Coach John Harrington of Farmington Hills. Quite a dogfight going on out there, Coach. What are you going to tell your guys at the half?
Well, we got to start pass protecting. You know, they're coming up the middle on us and getting our quarterback killed, so we got to pass protect.
And I was going to say, you started off, you got 2 quick scores. Wound up, of course, getting another one to lead the game, now 21-7. But it looks like Hudsonville has really dug in.
They're doing a great job. They've got some momentum now. We got to come out and stuff them to start the second half.
All right, Coach, thanks a lot. Good luck in the second half. Now let's take it back up to Matt and Stan.
All right, Greg Russell, thanks a lot. So Coach John Harrington realizes that his quarterback's getting beaten up a little bit. That quarterback has also thrown 3 touchdown passes. Hawks lead the Eagles 21-7. Stick around for our halftime festivities on Fox Sports Detroit. The reason Harrison has been so successful this season, they have jumped on opponents early, they have jumped on them often, and they wouldn't let them back up. They have done that to Hudsonville so far today. Welcome back to the Silverdome. Welcome back to Fox Sports Detroit. My name is Matt Shepard along with Stanley Edwards. Harrison leads Hudsonville 21-7 at the break. Stanley, you see what the Hawks have done. They've gone to the air. Not a whole lot on the ground, but Dave Pacey's had an outstanding ball game so far.
Yes, actually, Harrison's right on track of what they normally do for the output for the game. They scored early and scored quickly, but I think after Hudsonville settled in, they got exactly what they wanted to do offensively and defensively. Should be a very exciting second half. Looking forward to it.
Let's show you how Harrison got to the 21 points. Dave Pacey on the first drive, the second play of the ball game, 21 seconds in, finds the All-American.
There you go, Ricky Bryant. As we talked about, he's a guy that you have to stop. You have to double team him, I believe. They haven't done it yet, and he scored right there on that play. Then we come back, we look at him again, going on the flat route in the end zone, single coverage again, touchdown Ricky Bryant.
Go with what works. Then a big defensive play by the Eagles.
As we can look right here, that pass looks right at this receiver, and the linebacker jumps right in and makes a big interception.
And they take advantage of it, but they needed some trickery, didn't they?
They needed some trickery, but this is the time. If you're going to do your tricks, this is the way you pull it out in the state championship.
All right, 3rd touchdown for Harrison, so it was a 14-7 game at that point, but then the Hawks figured they need one more for good measure. Hey, they've been successful through the air. He doesn't go to Bryant, he goes to Andre Davis.
One more for good measure, and as you mentioned, not to Bryant, to Davis. Davis is the guy that you really don't want to look for all the time, but he's a guy that is capable of scoring a touchdown as well.
Pacey 159th through the air, and maybe this is why it's so surprising. Farmington Hills Harrison just 17 rushing yards on the ground. Our first half stats brought to you by the Detroit Free Press. The time of possession, pretty even, but anything jump out at you there?
I think it's the rushing stats. You would think that a team that's only rushed for 17 yards in the first half would be down, but they have 3 touchdowns on the board, and I guarantee they put more up in the second half.
They're going to need to. There's no question about it. They're going to have to start controlling the line of scrimmage as well. The big guys up front have to give more room for Nate Lertzema.
Lertzema is the guy that they're going to have to get started in the second half. He's got 60 yards at the half. He's on pace to go over 100 yards this game, but they're going to have to run him. But they also have to play action Lertzema and try to hit some people deep because he's the guy that's going to carry him on the ground. They will have to score in the air because they're going to be in a shootout with this Harrison team.
They would also like to control the clock just a little bit more and try to keep that Harrison offense off the field. On the field now, the Harrison marching band. We take you to break, listening to the Hawks playing their rendition of the school song, 21-7. Harrison leads it. We're back with more right after this brief timeout. Dave Durham's Hudsonville Eagles trail by 14. He's with our own Greg Russell.
Thanks a lot, Matt. That's right. We're here with head coach Dave Durham of Hudsonville. Coach, what did you tell your team at the half to get them back in the game?
Well, we got a bit. Pass rush has been good, but it's got to be better. We simply cannot give him time. D-backs got to give a little bit more cushion, so we got a little bit more room behind because they're breaking off and they're running a couple snake patterns on us, a DOD up, and we're not really running with them very well. So right now, it's a simple question. We got to put two things together: a better pass rush and a little deeper coverage. Offensively, we got to stay with our blocks. Right now, they're kind of bounce off. They got some pretty big boys, and we just simply got to go lower and stay hard on them.
I'm quite sure one of the things you reminded your team was they're only down by 2 touchdowns. They're not out of this game.
No. We tell our kids all year long we're the best conditioned team in the state, and we believe in it. The last 2 minutes of the second quarter, I think things started to come together for us. We're hitting. Our hitting's going to be better, and that's what's going to make the difference for us.
All right, Coach, thanks a lot. Good luck in the second half. That's Dave Durham. Now back up to Matt Shepard.
Greg Russell, thank you very much. Coach Dave Durham feels like he needs more of a pass rush. He has 4 sacks on the day. When we come back, his offense gets cracked at that Harrison defense. Second half kickoff on your way on Fox Sports Detroit next. As we get set to start this third quarter of play of the Class A final, Harrison on top by a couple of touchdowns. You're going to want to stick around here on Fox Sports Detroit. Right after this one, it comes the Class C title tilt. Traverse City St. Francis against Unionville Sebowang. Looks like a defensive battle there. Hope you can join Rob Rubik and me for that. And tonight at 8 o'clock, Fred McLeod is back in this seat along with Stanley Edwards. It's Belding and Chesaning. That should be a good one too, as we look to continue our high school state football championships weekend here on Fox Sports Detroit. John Harrington is 24 minutes away from watching his club grab its 9th crown in its 29-year history, and its 2nd straight in Class A. His kids worked so darn hard in the offseason, and you heard Dave Durham talk to Greg Russell about how hard his kids have worked this past offseason. Feel like they're the best conditioned team in the state. A lot of extra running and a lot of extra weightlifting. This team came together in the offseason and realized they were special midway through the season when they were able to handle adversity in a setback, and really their only setback of this 1998 season, dropping one to Jenison to open up the campaign, and then they beat Lowell and rolled from there. See if they roll here to start the third quarter of play. Kuipers opens it up, pushing it just past the 20, and Hudsonville will try to cash in from there. Just one scoring drive. A couple of times they moved the ball pretty well, but that Harrison defense so very strong. We'll see what kind of adjustments each coach made at the break.
I think the adjustments for Hudsonville, their biggest adjustments need to take place offensively, and then we're going to get a chance to see right here, right off the bat, what kind of adjustments they made.
Lertzema, winded at the end of that second half, has been the workhorse all year long. Weaving his way right side, right behind Kuipers. And a pickup of a couple. Brett Foster with the takedown there.
It's not a bad play. That's the play that got them to the state championship. Again, they're only down by 2 touchdowns. I think if they stay with their game plan, mix it up a little bit, they should be okay the second half.
2nd down and 7. Sometimes teams use their bread and butter too much, right, Stan? But they get to be, to a certain extent, you know, they feel like, hey, you know what? No one stopped us all year long. Even if the team's stopping us today, we know it can break out sometime, and maybe it never does. Lertzema diving forward for an extra 2 or so before Boski and Hode drag him down. They'll pick up about 3 or 4. That'll bring 3 and 3rd down and 4.5.
Matt, you talked about staying with your bread and butter too much. We're going back to their bread and butter. Lertzema here. That's the difference between some of the good coaches and some of the great coaches, making the halftime adjustments. I agree that you have to run Lertzema because he's the guy that got you here. At some point, when you're not putting the points on the board, you're going to have to mix it up and make sure you can stay within the ball game.
They'll throw here and overthrow. Buchanan trying to haul that one in. He has the lone touchdown catch for Hudsonville, and right off the bat, it's 3 and out like they started the game. And, you know, again, you were talking about that. You would like to go to your bread and butter, but, you know, you got to keep teams off balance, too. maybe to a certain extent, Hudsonville's becoming a little bit too predictable.
They're a little predictable, but again, they had some time. We got to understand that this guy had 1,800 yards rushing. That's a lot of offense. So they're probably not real skillful in the passing area. What they need to do is get more skillful in their play calling. And then plays that they're not real good at become good plays when they're called at the right time.
Casey Glass will kick it deep. Short kick. We'll see what kind of bounce he gets. Out of bounds right around midfield. Harrison leading 21-7. Now their first possession of the second half as their fans go wild after the 24-yard punt. Hawks doing most of their damage through the air in that first half of play. 3 touchdowns on 7 possessions. Nothing wrong with that. They had the 1 turnover, and they have had to use Joe Ganem a little bit more than many people expected. Ashley the lone setback, and now a toss to Bryant. Far side, looking for some help. We got our first flag of the afternoon. That's usually where a holding call.
White captain. White captain. 2nd and 7. 1st and about 17. Got a hold on the offense. Still 1st down.
I think that's a big play defensively for Hudsonville, and we talked about this in the first half, was field position. Farmington Harrison comes out in their first play from scrimmage on the second half. It's right at the 50-yard line. You know, they haven't had an opportunity to travel a long distance. That penalty really helps them have to travel a little bit further than they normally would have to go. But again, Harrison started with great field position.
1st and 17. Pacey steps up in the pocket. Nice throw. And threw a P to Bryant. And you see what Hudsonville's trying to do there. They're trying to strip the ball. Pacey does a nice job throwing the ball on a run, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. They roll him out a lot, so he gets a lot of practice at that. When he comes up under center, he rolls out 90% of the time of his passing. Rarely does he drop back. But on the run, he's a very accurate quarterback. You see it right there, put it right on the numbers of Ricky Bryant. Ricky tried to evade one tackle. You can see Glass rips it out, although Bryant was able to recover his own fumble.
Bryant on occasion, and you might have seen it on the last reverse, carries that ball out like a loaf of bread. Pacey very accurate. Almost 170 yards. And again, we've talked about the 3 scores. He's got his Hawks moving the ball. 2nd down and 9. Great catch by Bryant. Weaves his way. Can they catch him, though?
He may be gone.
Inside and knocked out of bounds. So he stepped out of bounds right around the 15. Boy, what a great catch. You see the hands of Ricky Bryant. Everyone talks about his speed, his build, his mind, but the hands are what make a wide receiver. And look at him haul this one in.
That is a tremendous catch because you can't ask a quarterback to put it on the numbers all the time. That was an absolutely fantastic catch. You always want to see a wide receiver catch the ball with his hands, and that's exactly what he had to do on that play. And he not step out of bounds right there. He was getting a lot closer to going into the end zone again.
Reagan and Smith forcing him out of bounds. There's a field view of the nice run after the catch. No wonder this guy has more touchdowns in the state of Michigan in high school football than anyone else. Kicks back to Woods. Near side. Gets a couple of big blocks and then dragged down from behind. Kevin Clement making the shoestring tackle there. Hats off to the offensive line of Harrison. They're getting the job done there.
As we watch the wide angle here, he's running and great vision. He plants, cuts back against the grain, breaks tackles, and continues to run. That's one outstanding run by a running back. You got to have vision. You got to understand it. You got to break the first tackle. 11 men on offense, 11 men on defense. The first man is your man to block. That's what's a win you got to be. That's exactly what he did on that play.
Steve Miglior, the right guard, the one pulling, doing a great job leading the way. Inside handoff to Turney, his first carry of the ball game. He lunges for a couple.
Conservative, but I like that call. Again, we talked about it earlier. They will run the dive play with their fullback every now and then just to keep you honest.
A lot of the tailback gives they have set up the offensive plays. They like to run veers. They like to run what they call blasts, things like that right off the bat. And on occasion, they will do that to the up back because it's the same blocking scheme as it is for the tailback. There's a counter. Woods close to that goal line, but can't push it through. DJ Van Slyke on the tackle there. Now 2nd down and goal. Inches to go.
The offense for the Farmington Harrison Hawks have a lot of diversity. They've been going wide. They've been splitting 2 and 3 wides. Now they go to their power package. They put double tight end and a power back in the backfield, and now they're starting to pound it out. That's diversity in their offensive package.
Turney and Woods. Turney with a go. Touchdown, Hawks. First rushing touchdown of the day for Harrison. And now their lead is 27-7. Try that left side. They call it the 9 side.
And that's a well-deserved touchdown for Turney because he's been asked to block all day long. He's just like a guard or a lineman in the backfield, running into people and colliding. He needs to have some success in the Silver Dome as well, getting a touchdown in the state championship game in front of all these people on television, have you call us name. He's not been a kid who's gotten a lot of accolades because some of the other guys have gotten that, but he's a guy who deserves to get a touchdown as well.
Ganem doesn't miss very often on the extra points. Neither does Harrison when they have the ball. They lead at 28-7. We're back with more at the Dome on Fox Sports Detroit. First Harrison possession of the second half, and they cash in 28-7, leading Hudsonville. Tune in Wednesday night when the Red Wings renew their rivalry with Patrick Roy, Claude Lemieux, Joe Sakic, and the rest of the Colorado Avalanche. Live coverage begins at 8:30 with Fox Sports tonight. Red Wings pregame. It's the Wings and the Avalanche from the Mile High City on Fox Sports Detroit. The Wings looking to improve on that 3-game roll. Harrison 7 plays, 50 yards in just under 3 minutes. And the first touchdown run of the day for the Harrison fullback, Matt Turney. Had 2 touchdowns in that semifinal win. 8 for the year, give him 9, feeling good. See how good Hudsonville feels after this return by Kuipers. Far side, oh, and he's tripped up near that 30-yard line. Kevin Woods in on that ankle tackle, but not before Kuipers picked up 22.
As you can watch here on the return, what happens when the other team is scoring a lot of points? You get pretty good at returning kicks because you get a lot of practice at it. And as he stiff-armed his own man in the back, he gets tripped up right there. And they've gotten some good returns here, but they're now they start to need to putting some points on the scoreboard.
All right, ball resting at the 28-yard line out of the split backfield. Let's see if they adhere to Stanley Edwards' advice and throw the ball. They will do just that. Underneath back to Litzema. Takes a hit. Pushes himself toward that 35-yard line. Mike Hode delivered the pop, and it'll be 2nd down and 5.
Now that's a great first down play. As you can watch him back up here, the quarterback just a simple drop back, alerts him over the middle. That's a positive play. They got 5, 6 yards on first down. Now it's 2nd and 3, or 2nd and 4. That's a positive play on first down. That's what they need.
Good job by his offensive line, giving him plenty of time. Now there's a rush, trying to tuck it under and run. So much for that 5-yard pickup. Dario Otero in on the pressure, dropping him back 4 or 5 yards, and now it'll bring up a 3rd and long.
What you like to see in your quarterback is when he's comes back up under center and sets up. If he doesn't find anybody open, take off and run right away or throw the ball away. Field position is going to be awfully important in the second half. You don't want to lose any if you possibly can. Now we got 2nd and 6, and we had 3rd and 6, and we had 2nd and 3. Actually 3rd and 7.
Harrison all over it, especially through the air, more than doubling Hudsonville's output offensively. Cross the grain, picked off by Bryant. Watch out, he can run with it after. Referee's got to get out of the way too. That's a big turnover. First turnover for Hudsonville today. Harrison a +8 on the season, now even for the game, a 17-yard return. Ricky Bryant with a nice interception. Jordan Beal had some time when he came near side, was trying to throw across his body. You talked about it earlier. That's a very difficult throw.
It's a very difficult throw. When you got a guy, he's flushed out to his left, being a right-handed quarterback, he's got 2 men open, but throwing across your body is very difficult to do, and he didn't have a chance to set and go straight to his target. Great interception by Bryant here. One-handed grab, and was able to keep it and stay on his feet, and a pretty good return afterwards.
4th interception of the season for Ricky Bryant as Matt Reed tries to muscle his way back toward the line of scrimmage far side. But now if you're Hudsonville, you're just worried a little bit about this one getting away if you let another one in.
I would be concerned because, again, they got great field position. They get the ball at the 32-yard line of Hudsonville, looking to go in for another score. I am concerned. Now I'm blitzing almost every play.
Right.
Yep.
And Durham's right. I mean, his team is well-conditioned. There's one thing being well-conditioned, but you also have to make plays.
Exactly.
Pacey steps up. Look at a pop delivered there by Glass. Blake Ashley out of the backfield. Harrison's got some talented guys. They come out of the backfield. They will block. They will run. They will catch and do whatever they need to do to make the ball move.
Now, Hudsonville's defense has played, in my opinion, well enough for them to be in this game.
Absolutely.
They've just been put in bad positions all game, and you see Glass make a tremendous open field tackle.
Well, they've logged a lot of time, too, Stan. I mean, they've been out there the majority of this football game so far. And it's kind of deceiving because Harrison scored on the 2nd play of the game, but after that, Hawks really start to chew some clock. Kevin Woods, far side. First down. Guy averages 10.5 yards per carry.
Boy, that's an average.
Yes, it is.
That's a great average for a wide receiver. I think being highly conditioned is one thing, but I think at some point it may be asking them a bit too much to be on the field as long as they have. Conditioning is one thing. As you're looking.
But here you're looking for your defense to make plays too, right? I mean, you're looking for a turnover here. You've got to play for a turnover, an interception, force a fumble, do whatever you can to get the rock back in your offense's hands so they can possibly move their way down the field. On a 1st and 10, sitting at the Hudsonville 18. Pacey. One more touchdown throw. He's got himself a record. He's got himself a run. Stumbles! Oh, he wanted the goal line but couldn't keep his feet. Oh, Bryant comes over to help him up. And all those guys just say, boy, big fella, you stay on for 1/2 more yard and you got yourself a touchdown run on top of the 3 touchdown tosses you already own.
And again, tremendous pressure by the Hudsonville defense. And we're looking at the pitch. He's getting there, but he stumbles. He can just see the goal line from here. He sees it, gets a great block right there.
It's that line right there that came up and nipped it.
Yeah, that line just came out of the ground and smacked that ankle.
He might have been thinking about that touchdown dance just a little bit.
Yeah.
Instead, Turney might have a chance at a second one, but he is forced back at the goal line. They want to reward the big fella up front, don't they? He had 2 in the semifinal. Give him 1 more today.
But those are the kind of players you have to have for the state championship. You don't always have your wide receivers to go down in and lead block for you. You don't always have your quarterback to go make tackles. You need support players in place to make sure you can have a well-rounded team. Everybody's not going to do what Turney does.
Yeah, you're right. You need guys who are willing to accept a role.
Exactly.
Harrison has an awful lot of that. And so does Hudsonville. And now Pacey's got himself a touchdown. He is accounted for 4 of the 5 Harrison scores so far this afternoon. 3 via the air, and now that little 1-yard plunge for his first rushing touchdown of the game.
Hudsonville have made a pretty good stand right here, and what happened was that Petchy got it right on the 2nd effort.
Adams' extra point is money, and it's 35-7. Harrison leads Hudsonville. With 3:25 left to go in the 3rd quarter, the Eagles need to respond and do it quickly when we come back at the Dome on Fox Sports Detroit. Heck of a senior year for Dave Pacey. Heck of a game today. The 4.0 GPA senior quarterback has thrown 3 touchdowns and run for another. The latest culminating a 6-play, 30-yard drive in 2.5 minutes. And Harrison now with a commanding 35-7 lead.
The parents of that young man should be awfully proud. Not only is he taking care of business on the field, but also in the classroom.
We talk about role models. You were one at the University of Michigan. Some are at the professional level. Dave Pacey can be for underclassmen and has been for this Harrison football team this year. Nate Lertzema does the same for Hudsonville. Now he's trying to spark his guys. Trailing big,
And wrestled to the ground at the 20-yard line. Nick Hall in on the tackle for the Hawks. And Hudsonville, Stanley Edwards, like you had hinted earlier, will now need to open things up a little bit more than they have so far today.
But not so aggressively where they just lose all hope with their offense. They need to open it up. They still need to make sure they open it up with some kind of sense and some kind of rhythm to it and some kind of rhyme and reason. Yeah. If you just start airing it out, it'll be 60-0 before you blink your eye. I'm sorry, 60-7.
DJ Van Slyke has stepped in for Hudsonville as the quarterback, and he keeps far side. This is a guy who started the season really at quarterback and did a great job. Threw 4 touchdown passes. Actually has thrown for more yards than Jordan Beal has. But went down with a knee injury in the 6th game of the season. Jordan Beal came back from his injury and then rode this team the rest of the way to the playoffs. And Van Slyke does such a great job as a linebacker on the defensive side of the ball. But now the onus to move the football has been put on his shoulders. Staring at a 2nd down and 9. Again, Hudsonville in 2nd and 3rd in really long situations today. That bootleg didn't fake anybody now. And Hode and Van Slyke went helmet to helmet. A couple of big-time linebackers squaring off. A pickup of 3, and it's 3rd and long. This is something Hudsonville did not want to see happen, and that's the 2nd and 3rd and long situations because, again, it forces them to throw the ball a little bit. Yeah, they've been in this situation quite often today, and it's not been very positive for them. First down is very key down for them because they don't really have the arsenal to make sure they spread the ball around on 2nd and 3rd down. 3rd down becoming an obvious passing down, and it's very predictable. Eagles 0 for 8 on 3rd down attempts so far this afternoon. A fake pitch, Van Slyke rolls right, throws downfield, there's no one there. Somebody broke off a pattern. Glass is left at the 30-yard line with his hands out, wondering why the pass was going that way. Might have been a broken play. Either way, it's 4th and a punting situation. And Hudsonville needs to try and get something moving here quickly, folks. You got to understand also that Hudsonville has rarely been in this position any time this year. Yeah. They don't know how to react. Well, we're down 37-7. What do we do? How do we play? What do we do? All this stuff is kind of new to them, and now they're learning about themselves, particularly for the guys that are coming back next year, that you have to keep fighting. There's a quarter and a minute and 56 seconds left. You got to make sure that you continue to fight throughout the game. Yeah, and this Hudsonville offense blocked, partially blocked anyway. It scoots through there and up toward midfield, and Hudsonville will down it inside their own territory, right around the 42-yard line. It looked like Blake Ashley got a piece of that Casey Glass punt. And, you know, Hudsonville's offense isn't used to this either. I mean, here's a team that averages 30.5 points per game over the last 4 games, and now their special teams are falling apart to a certain extent. Talking about Hudsonville continuing to fight, as you can see, that's exactly what Farmington Harris is doing. They're going after blocking punts, even when they're up 35-7. They're like, listen, the game is not over with yet. We can still make some plays here. Ashley and Taylor put the pressure on there. Now out of the I formation. This may be the last series for Dave Pacey. Pitch back. Fumble at midfield, regroup, heavy loss, but good job by Matt Reed just to regain control of the football. Otherwise, who knows what could have happened. Hudsonville could have grabbed that out of midair and taken it back. That's what happens when you put another running back in there. He's not used to getting the pitch. He's kind of cold, been on the sideline most of the game, and he's got to come in and kind of get warm. Some players, when you come off the bench cold, you want to take a play or two to kind of get loosened up. You can't afford that when your number's called. If you go in the game and your number's called in the first place, you got to be ready. Yeah, actually, Corey Davis in for his first try there, and now he's out. Kevin Woods in. Far side, breaks the tackle. Has to beat Glass to the corner. Does. Glass holds on for dear life, drags him out of bounds, but not before a huge pickup. And Harrison is knocking on the door again. Well, Woods was on the sideline, thought he was going to get a rest, but after that fumble, coach told him he had to get back into the game because we're not going to have any of that today. He breaks down the sideline right here. Nice breaking tackle right there. Glass has been a very busy young man today. Yes, he is. He's going to have a long ride home. Let's watch him. Very strong hands. He almost pulled him down with one hand, puts the other hand on him, and slings him out of bounds. He's out of bounds for a little while there. That's a little frustration. I think the referee recognized that by not throwing the penalty. You see the numbers on Woods. 28 of those 67 yards coming on that last play. Now out of the I formation, under a minute to go in the 3rd quarter.
Reed busting through over the right tackle. Fred Cunningham in on the stop there. Bring up 2nd down and 8 after a pickup of 2. Generous spot, they give him 4, make it 2nd down and 6. They'll get one more play off before the clock is out here in the 3rd quarter. Harrison leading it 35-7. Up back handoff. Ashley stuck by Van Slyke and dropped right around the line of scrimmage. Pacey won't have to run another play. Ashley will get a breather, and Harrison will take a 28-point lead into the final 12 minutes of play of the Class A title game. The Hawks on the verge of their 9th state championship, their 2nd in a row. They need 12 more minutes of effort against Hudsonville. We'll see how they handle it when we come back to the Dome on Fox Sports Detroit. Harrison in command. They lead Hudsonville 35-7 as we get set to start the 4th quarter of play. Hawks with a huge following year in and year out. Volunteers have come out and put every player's number out on that gate just outside the Silverdome on Updike. John Harrington's club has never given up more than 20 points in a game, and it sure doesn't look like it'll happen today. Have to be a monumental comeback for the Eagles if they were able to get back into it. Andre Davis on an inside handoff. Good stick there by Glass to drive him out of bounds around the 16-yard line, but not before a pickup of 5. John Harrington has won state championships in 1981, 82, 88, 89, 91, 93, 94, 97, and is now playing for his 9th. Dave Pacey, the senior quarterback, wants to be the guy to lead him to number 9.
I mean, for the Little League, the middle school, and all the other junior football programs in the city of Farmington, boy, that's a heck of a thing for you to aspire to make sure you want to be good enough to be part of this Farmington Harrison football program. I mean, they've done an outstanding job year in and year out, and that's asking a lot. You get kids from one area to do that well. I mean, there's a number of communities in the suburban Detroit and Metro Detroit area, but none have been this successful. Now, St. Martin de Porres has done quite well in their area as far as winning championships as well. But Farmington Harrison year in and year out for the long haul has done an outstanding job.
I think the Free Press had it earlier this week. Pretty nice article by Mick McCabe and Bill Roos, who do an outstanding job of covering these high school teams throughout the year. They talked about a dynasty, and maybe that word, that term is overused to a certain extent in all of sports, but it is very difficult to say this Harrison program is not a dynasty when you see what they have done. To be 8-3 in the state championship, and you see Casey Glass, a warrior in every sense of the word, going to the bench. Injury and a tough guy to lose for Hudsonville. Need a tough yard, you might as well give it to Matt Turney. He got it for him. And Harrison will move the chains again.
And there's a pitch of Glass on the sideline in obvious pain. As you can watch him tackling Jones here on the sideline. Goes and drills him and runs him to the ground. And I don't know exactly what he may have hurt. But this guy has been on more tackles than probably anybody on the field on either side of the football today. And he's given his body up for the state championship game. I know Hudsonville and the fans and everybody involved in the program should be extremely proud of everything he's done and everything he's offered for this football team.
Harrison uses one of their 3 timeouts. They get some substitutions in there, and they're looking to figure out a way how they're going to celebrate. It's 35-7. They lead it. Fox Sports Detroit's coverage of the MHSAA Championship is brought to you by the United Dairy Industry of Michigan, proud sponsor of the MHSAA Sports Nutrition Award, and by MC Sporting Goods. Gear up for the holidays at your store of dreams. Dream season for Harrison and Hudsonville to get to this point. The Class A championship game, John Harrington's Hawks on top 35-7. They have made a number of changes in that offensive backfield to get some guys an opportunity to play in this championship game. Corey Davis, rather, has played sparingly throughout the game.
That one, he's dropped a couple of yards back by Ken Reagan. Your quarterback now, Brad Tucker, who has played sparingly throughout the Hawks season this year. Actually has thrown 9 passes and has a touchdown to his credit.
Well, Tucker's going to be the guy for next year. You know, he's going to get some ready, get him a little chance to show what he can do here in the state championship game and some, you want to call it mop-up time, but this is very valuable time for him because he's going to be the guy they're going to look to lean on next year.
Yeah, he can say he's played in this type of situation. How many else will be able to say that? Not many. Kevin Woods, again, another loss for Hudsonville. The defense trying to meet the challenge. Larry Brooks on the stop there, and a loss of 7 on the play. Tucker, the junior, will be back to lead this Harrison club next season and will no doubt start prepping sometime real soon. A lot of these guys play a number of sports at Harrison High School, and John Harrington is their baseball coach. So they know their personalities. They know the tendencies of one another. Kevin Woods with another try, and Ken Reagan again on the stop. A lot of big wins in John Harrington's career. Everybody talks about the wins. You know, that's what you remember. I'm sure Stanley Edwards remembers his Rose Bowl win more than the 2 Rose Bowl losses. Sorry to bring that up there, big fella.
That's okay.
John Harrington actually said one of his biggest memories from his coaching career was, you know, a loss to Fordson, where he thought he had a good enough team led by John Miller, who starred at Michigan State, to get him to this point and didn't. And the first time he ever beat his mentor, Ron Holland, of North Farmington, because Harrington was a junior varsity coach with the Raiders before taking over at Harrison. Pretty much kept the same offense that they ran there. They run a lot of the same plays. Passing game is a little bit different. Right now, he and his team figuring out how they're going to convert a 47-yard field goal. You'll have to wait. 9:48 left to go in the 4th. We're back with that attempt when we come back right after this. They are happy for Farmington Hills. The Hawks appear well on their way to a 9th state championship. They lead Hudsonville 35-7, and they are lining up for a 47-yard field goal. Joe Ganem, 40 of 55 on the year, and should he make it, folks, he would break the record set back in 1988 by Josh Werfel of Traverse City. The kick is up, and it is short. So the ball will come out to the 20-yard line, and that's where Hudsonville will take aim again. Maybe Dave Durham can take some solace knowing that his ball club has kept things relatively close against Harrison. Remember this, folks, the Hawks have only been challenged once this season. That's by John Glenn. Their average margin of victory is 34 points. They average 41 on offense, give up just 7 on defense. And again, John Glenn, the Rockets, Chuck Gordon's club, able to keep them within 20-14. Harrison won just by 6 in that ball club. And Chuck Gordon, one of our Lions Weekly High School Coaches of the Week. Pipers up the middle to the 30-yard line and close to a first down.
Everything's a stepping stone. Go from 1 wins last year to the state playoffs the next year into the title game. That's absolutely a phenomenal feat to do. Now I think they can build off of this. If they can realize what it took it to get to this point, and I would think a lot of what happened today had to do with them thinking that we got here. That's a monumental task within itself. Next year you want to get here and win and play a lot better.
You taste it.
Exactly.
Like you did at the Rose Bowl.
Sure.
You don't ever want to walk away without winning it again.
Tasted it too many times.
There's some bouncing outside. And picking up about 4.
Still running hard. Still Lurtzman.
Ashley and Bryant on the stop. After the ball game, they will present John Harrington with a trophy at midfield. May have to build another trophy case at Harrison to house this one. Very content where he is. A lot of people wondered early in his career, would he make a jump to college? He likes what he's doing, likes where he's living. Farmington Hills, a beautiful area.
Lurtzema, far side, weaving his way, showing why he's so tough. Look at him bowl people over. If nothing else, you show this tape to backs in the future at Hudsonville, and you say, this is what we like out of you. Pick up a 17.
That's a back. That's a man who came here to the state championship to give it all out. He's laying it out. You see, he plants, cuts up field. When he gets his shoulders running north and south, he's a very hard, tough runner. I mean, it's not, one man is not going to bring him down. I think very few occasions today where one man did bring him down. As you watch him here just run up field, once he lowers his shoulder, he's just a battering ram, very tough to bring down.
20 touchdowns during the season for Nate Lurtzema. Hasn't been able to break that goal line yet today. Look at that average. Not too bad.
I'd love to see him go over 100 yards today if at all possible.
Van Slyke under center with his second straight first down to give up to the up back. Kuipers, right side, stuck and dropped for a minimal gain. Mike Hode again in on the tackle there. John Harrington making wholesale substitutions to give, again, guys playing time experience in this type of ball game. There are a lot of adjustments that need to be made once you get to the Dome. A lot of these teams have never played on AstroTurf.
Exactly.
They have never seen the lights in the corners.
Sure.
That takes some adjusting to.
Absolutely.
And the warmth. It gets hot inside the Dome.
Yes, it does.
Especially field-wise. Pitch back to Lurtzema. Takes a hit, rides him for another couple of yards. Blake Ashley went shoulder pad to shoulder pad. Pickup of 7. And maybe that's what they're playing for, Stanley Edwards. Maybe they're trying to get Lurtzema at least 100 yards in this ball game.
But that, and also they want to make sure they keep their team confident. And when you look at the team, they were kind of down and out. They were looking at each other, wondering, listen, you know, are we the team that got here to the state champs? Are we the same group of guys? Sure you are. You just played a better team today, you know. But also what you want to do as a coaching staff, you want to make sure that they stay positive, stay high on themselves by doing the things that got them here and running Lurtzema by keeping their attitude up and high and positive.
And of course, competition. You always want to compete. You never want to get blown out. Lurtzema picks up the first third down conversion for a first down for Hudsonville of the day. They were 0 for 9 going for that one, and I believe they got it there, depending on which foot the referee will spot it.
That's going to be awfully close, and I bet if Lurtzema had an opportunity to do it over, he would lower his shoulder and get the first down first, and then look for some room to try to get more yardage.
Left-footed spot. They'll call it 4th and inches. Color analysts are usually do a better job of gauging whether they got the first down, especially running backs like you who've got a number of them over your career. I think it's fair to say that Van Slyke got that, don't you?
Oh, he shot through there like a caddy.
Again, coming up at 5 o'clock, Traverse City against Unionville Wing area, USA as they call it in that area of the state. The Class C title tilt, and then a little bit later on, Stanley Edwards is right back in this seat along with Fred McLeod for the Class B championship. Belding and Chesaning.
For those of you watching the game who think maybe the Harrison defense is maybe celebrating a bit too soon and kind of giving up out there, most of the players on the Harrison defense are not starters. These are guys who have not played a lot, and they're going against some of the first stringer for Hudsonville. So that's why you're seeing a lot of holes in there that weren't there earlier.
Lurtzema is going to throw it downfield and broken up nicely. Job by Nick Hall. I really think the turning point of this ball game was 21-7. Hudsonville had an opportunity to drive the other way. Ricky Bryant made the play. Not on offense this time, but on defense.
On defense, yeah, that was probably, and I'd agree with you there, Matt, the turning point of the game. They had an opportunity to get down, to get back in the game and bring it to one touchdown within one touchdown lead. And that interception, the way he caught it one-handed, big spectacular play, kind of took the air out of Hudsonville's sail.
It'll be interesting to see where Ricky Bryant goes next year, a guy who has offers from Barry Alvarez and Wisconsin Badgers who are playing in the Rose Bowl, Purdue, Notre Dame, Northwestern, Michigan State, Kentucky, and your alma mater. Lloyd Carr has tried to get him to go to U of M. Of course, his brother plays in Ann Arbor as well.
Yeah, it'd be kind of difficult for me to go up and play the same position that my brother's playing, and if I think I'm better than him, and some people say that he is,
right?
Do I want to take my brother's time away, and do I want to go sit behind my brother? I want to go and play right away, so he's probably going to go to a place where he can get the most playing time early.
Kentucky's an interesting thought.
Yes,
I mean, if Tim Couch were to come back to catch passes from Tim Couch, although everybody thinks he's going to be the #1 draft pick for the Cleveland Browns, But that would be an interesting scenario to play for Hal Mumme, who loves to throw the football.
Yeah, he does.
Here's a counter. Winehouse, far side, and first down for Hudsonville. 4.5 left to go in the fourth quarter, 35-7. Harrison still leading. 3 touchdown passes from Dave Pacey, a touchdown run from Pacey, and a little touchdown plunge from his fullback, Matt Turney. The Harrison scores for the day. Ricky Bryant has played his last play in a Harrison uniform. Gets a big hug from John Harrington. Very special player in that school's history, and they've had a bunch, folks. Talk about Milt Coleman. Talk about John Miller. A number of guys. Ricky Bryant, the school's all-time leader in touchdown catches, yardage.
Green captain, green.
Second flag of the afternoon.
Green captain. Who's running the show out here? You? All right. 2nd and 5, or we're going 15 back from the football. 15 back. All right, it's going to be first all over again. We're going 15 from the ball. Okay. 1st and 5, clip on the offense.
Was it heads or tails?
I love that ref. Really gets into it. Who's running the show out here? Come on now, talk to me a little bit.
Hey, we the greatest of all time. I'm the best you ever seen. I'm so good, I'm amazing. Hi, Mom. I'm the best you ever heard of.
I don't know about that, but I can tell you that your team is one of the best, if not the best, in the state. And of course, they are ranked nationally as well. Brian McGee is a solid football player. He is not the best I've ever seen, but his ball club is outstanding. Ricky Bryant is one of the best we've ever seen. What this guy has done for this Harrison program, the all-time leader in state history in touchdowns. This one, a 66-yarder, 20 seconds into the state championship ball game on the second play. Another one, giving him 2 for the day. And then he might have made the play of the game with his one-handed interception, with his Hawks up on top, 21-7, giving his club a chance to score, bump the lead to 28-7, and they have rolled from there. Ricky Bryant, 6 catches, 146 yards, including that 66-yard touchdown grab. You can't say enough about him. He is amazing.
Yes, he is, and I'm a little surprised that as we see Lutzman run off left tackle there, I'm a little surprised they didn't double team him, because he's not your average high school receiver. This is not a good high school receiver. He's one of the best ever played in the state. And a receiver of that caliber has to be double teamed at some point. It's going to get a good job.
There's Bryant. He is number 1. He is number 1 in the state of Michigan in touchdown catches. He is 4th in state history in catches and 2nd in state history in number of yards he's received. And today he has put on a show for everybody. Whether you like skilled players or not, whether you like Harrison High School, Class A, whatever the case may be, I would tend to think even the folks at Hudsonville have to walk away and drive back to West Michigan saying that number 1's a special player.
That's a happy sideline and a well-deserved happy sideline. These guys have worked hard. They came through a tough schedule, and these guys have showed again. I mean, they come to play. This is a high-powered offense that they come out with guns slinging and guns toting. They just let it go from the word go.
Yeah, you saw Brett Foster and Dario Otero there, that offensive line. That's the left side of that Harrison offensive line. John Harrington lost the entire offensive line last year, and suddenly to get these guys in here and do the things that they've done is a little bit short of remarkable.
That's absolutely amazing. That's a tribute to the coaching staff and the offseason program that they put together.
We approach the 2-minute mark of the Class A title game. Harrison leading 35-7. Hudsonville looking for their second score, and no doubt trying to get Nate Lertzema the opportunity to feel what it's like to score a touchdown in the Class A championship game. He won't get it, but James Kuiper sure will. The Eagles cash in for the second time this afternoon. 35-13. Kuipers has played well. Here's a guy who led the team in yardage last year. Had to take a back seat to Lertzema this year. Decided that he's willing to do whatever it takes for the betterment of the team and has accepted it well.
I mean, as we watch the touchdown again, you talk about a lot of great stories with Hudsonville. Kuiper's one of them, and what he did to take a back seat. You got to understand, there are so many stories between becoming 1-8 and all the sacrifices that everybody had to make getting to the title game the very next year. That's a lot of stories in there. You can talk about the sacrifices they made, the turnaround, the different of attitude, the approach, everything that goes into going from 1-8 to getting to the title game the very next year. They have nothing to be ashamed of.
Absolutely not. I credit Dave Durham and his coaching staff because, let's face it, physically, you can put those kids out there, have them run extra laps, have them get in that weight room and do whatever they have to do. But upstairs, between the ears, you have to convince your kids that, listen, 1-8 was not the norm. It was a fluke. 11-1 is the norm, and what we're trying to establish here.
I think the biggest lesson is going to be learned by the sophomores that are now juniors on this team now. The sophomores are the ones who participated on the 1-8 team, and now they're juniors who got into the state championship team. They know what to do in the offseason to prepare for next year to try to get back here again.
Eagles pulled to within 22 after a 16-play, 80-yard scoring drive that took up close to 8 minutes of play, resulting in a James Kuiper's 3-yard touchdown run. It is unfortunate that someone has to lose a game like this, especially after going through the rigors of a schedule that a high school athlete has to do. It is very difficult to balance the books and the playing time, the socializing, the time spent with the family. These guys do it very, very well. Most of these kids are exceptional students in the classroom, exceptional leaders, and exceptional role models in their community.
And for all the other high school teams who wish they were playing here today, they need to understand the sacrifices that these two teams made. Yeah, you may have think you've made sacrifice, and now you need to make a little bit more to try to get in these two teams' position.
Casey Glass is a captain of that Eagles football team. So is James Kuiper's. And as Stanley Edwards pointed out, they have nothing to be ashamed of. They played extremely well and very, very hard today. They have to remember that from now on, for the rest of Hudsonville's football program, they will be the measuring stick until somebody wins this championship game. They will be compared to everybody else that follows. Ricky Bryant is deep, standing around the 15-yard lines, along with Kevin Woods. You can't get much faster in kickoff returns. A little punch. Woods on a line drive at the 20, near side, looking for a seam. Takes a couple of pops, delivers one as well, and is dropped at the 36-yard line. We welcome you to stay with us. After this, for the Class C championship game, Harrison will be crowned Class A champions. Fowler was in Class D. There is still a C and a B finals to be played here at the Dome on this Friday afternoon. Harrison will just keep it on the ground as expected. Jake Taylor with a carry and a pickup of 3. After this one, the Ultimate Fan League. You think you know sports? Tested against the Ultimate Fan League here on Fox Sports Detroit. That is following our championship ball game here. Then at 5 o'clock, again, come on back to the Dome here on FSD. I'll be along with Rob Rubik as we bring you the Class C championship game. Hudsonville, and they came out in mass today. Painting their faces, painting their bodies, everything. Supporting their Eagles ball club. A lot of people jumped on their bandwagon late. People who jumped on it early and never gave up on it are the ones who are the true fans. The celebration has been underway for the last couple of minutes for Harrison. And Hudsonville, hey, they're just celebrating that they're on Fox Sports Detroit.
I'm quite sure when they get back to Hudsonville, there'll be some sort of celebration for the team.
Yeah, they should have one.
Yeah.
They should have one.
They deserve it.
Stan and I want to thank everybody involved in our broadcast today, our camera people, our folks in the truck who do an outstanding job in every production they undertake. Nick Hall taking snaps now for Harrison. We have the easy part. The tough job is the guys who are running the cameras, giving us the replays and making the directions. John Harrington is a 9-time state champion.
That sounds like a dynasty to me.
It is. They defend their Class A championship with a 35-13 win over Hudsonville. The celebration continues for Harrison at the Dome when we come back on Fox Sports Detroit. Win number 261 in John Harrington's career gives him his 9th state championship. Harrison 35, Hudsonville 13. The difference, that guy right there, number 1, Ricky Bryant, who finishes out his career on a very special Friday afternoon, hugging another state championship trophy.
That's a great shot there. You talk about a great coach and a great player and a great game, the state championship game. And you can see him getting a little emotional right there, and well, he should. He has did what a lot of coaches only dreamed of doing. This Harrison team is one awesome, awesome program, and I had an opportunity to see them very much, and I can see why they've done some of the things they've done in the past. Talking about Hudsonville, they've come a long way in a very short period of time, and I don't know if there's any team who's lost as many games they have, and the next year come back and finish in this, get to the state final game. They should be extremely proud of their team. Absolutely. And realizing that we've gotten to this point now. Now we need to build on winning this game.
Yeah, they are the runners-up, but again, nothing to be ashamed of. An outstanding effort from Casey Glass, Nate Lertzema, and the entire Eagles club. Dave Durham, an outstanding job this year, taking this Hudsonville team and really putting them on the map. John Harrington's club has been on the map for years now. This is the 12th time they have played for a state championship and the 9th time they have won it. They can rightfully say they are number 1. Some would argue they are the best no matter what the class. We do know one thing for sure, they are the best in Class A. Our next game comes up at 5 o'clock in Class C as Traverse City St. Francis takes on Unionville Sebowang. Now for everybody and our Fox Sports Detroit crew, along with Stanley Edwards, I'm Matt Shepard saying so long from the Silverdome. Once again, the final score in the Class A championship game. Ricky Bryant and Farmington Hills Harrison 35. The Hudsonville Eagles 13. You've been watching high school football on Fox Sports Detroit. We are your home of Fox Sports Net. We'll see you back here in just a little while. Now you want to stick around and test your sports knowledge against some of the best in the business. The Ultimate Fan League on Fox Sports Detroit is next.